We're live, by the way.
What
Sorry.
is going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a good weekend.
Yeah.
I caught some of your the early look. Fortunately, it doesn't look like there's any weather issue. I mean, I do see a little yellow in the Colorado in the Boston game, but I don't think that's interfering with my builds really.
Yeah, same here. I don't think it seems to be worrisome enough to where it's going to really affect me unless it gets worse or something. But as of right now, I think it's okay. And even the delay being in the later half of the game makes me feel a little bit more okay with playing Paxton. So we didn't get a chance to talk earlier. What are you doing with your pitching?
Yeah, so obviously the best options are Paxton and Lizardo, but I don't want to play them both, right? I just because I shouldn't say that I don't want to play them both, but I don't want to play both chalk pitchers together unless I really have a good sense for pivoting in the hitting.
Mhm.
So right now I do have Paxton as my top guy. Let me just get you the full exposures here. I do have Paxton as the top guy. And I do have Lizardo as my second top guy, but I don't have them together all that much. I'm like sprinkling in all these other bow wows. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
with one of those two, and only because I'm not as good as you are at spending 18-9 and making the rest of the hitting work. Um, so that's what I'm doing. Basically have the same amount of both of them, but not that many with. As a matter of fact, I could actually do that. I have only I only have like 10% of my lineups with the two of them together. How about that?
Yeah, I've only got them together in like a couple of lineups.
Okay. Okay.
And obviously only where you feel like what I mean, like it's okay to make those plays. But the thing that I'm trying to do is that I've got Paxton as number one as well. I do think it's none of these guys excite me. I don't think it's a bad idea for the slate to spend down on pitching, to use some Liberator, some Granke even. I know some people are going to play Zach Wheeler. I actually kind of like the other guys a little bit better, and I think that you can include Dunning into that mix.
Zach Eflin, you mean?
What did I say?
You said Zach Wheeler?
I didn't mean Zach Eflin or Wheeler. Luke
What did
Weaver.
you mean exactly?
I said Luke Weaver.
You said Zach Wheeler, actually, but that's okay.
Oh, did I? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I thought I said Weaver. Um, but I'm lower on the Weaver than the field. I actually like the Kansas City bats quite a bit here. But so for where I'm going to play Boston, for where I would play Tampa Bay, I'll have more no Lizardo, no Paxton. Uh,
Okay, that's
either
cool.
of them. Yeah, play Eflin, Webb, and then I'm going to mix in some Bryce Miller as well. And he's just really expensive and had two terrible outings, but it's a really good matchup, and I think that he makes sense. So I have a little sprinkles of all these guys. I do have Paxton as pretty significantly the highest owned of my guys, but I have 25% Webb, 25% Eflin, 20% Miller, 30% Liberator, and then I'll probably end up with like 10% of Granke and 10% of Dunning, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I have of the SP2s. I have Weaver as the highest. I have Weaver 28%, and I have 25% Dunning, and I do have like some Granke. I also have the really super gross Caprillion in some. Um, just for
Yeah, it's
just for
one of those
kicks.
sites where you can do it because there's none of these guys are guaranteed to have a good game today. Um, and I just personally am like less on the Weaver thing because I just like I have so much KC in my lineups.
Yeah, KC's got a lot of value in there.
Yeah, they've got the value, and I still think Weaver sucks. I think like he occasionally can tap into that talent that made him like a really top guy, top prospect, top next great pitcher kind of a thing a few years back. But I don't feel great about it. I guess I'll go with my stacks, and then we can talk about
Yeah,
yours.
you can go first if you want.
I like Philly the best. I actually like both sides of the Philly Arizona game. In terms of 5-man stacks, though, I really like Philly. They're unfortunately going to be more popular than they were when I initially was doing this. But you can get off the board. It's okay to play Brandon Marsh in the 9-hole. Clemens will have some ownership in the 8-hole at 2,400. But I do like Philly. I have, other than Philly, I like KC, as I mentioned, Boston, and I like more pieces of KC and Cincinnati than I do full stacks. But I think that's sort of like the guys throughout my lineup. I probably have more guys from KC than I do any other team. And then I do like Tampa Bay, but it just comes with the same thing. Some of these guys may not be around for the whole game, although today it seems more likely that you might have more of them in there.
We don't have a lineup yet for them, correct?
Yeah, but no, we don't. But and that's kind of important too, which depending on when it comes out, could subdue their ownership just a little bit. Because I think that them in Boston would be the first two clear ones that you would look at, and I think Philadelphia is just my favorite one. But I think Philadelphia and the ownership should be fairly similar between the three, but I prefer Philly. I also don't mind doing like a 4-4 or a 4-3-1 or something like that. It's a smaller slate. It's a little more likely to do it. And if I also the other thing I was going to mention about stacking Boston is I think it's interesting to try and stack the bottom of Boston's lineup if you want to get a little bit different. They have a very same thing with Philly, actually, you could say too. I think that the bottom of their lineup is fairly strong, and no one's going to play Kike Hernandez batting ninth at 3,300, and I will. You know what I mean? I also think that both first basemen should subdue the ownership of the others. So I would not make a Boston stack without using one of their first basemen, probably.
Yeah, I have to say that we didn't go over any of this today. You did it without me, and I did like a video where I just basically did every slate pretty quickly, and we're sort of in the same page. I have Philly as my top owned as well. I have Boston really, really close, but Philly number one. And then I have I have a little more Angels than you do, I think. I have Angels underneath Boston, and then I have Tampa. I'm a little light, and I don't like it, but I'm a little light on Kansas City. But because I don't have as many, I guess, of the pitchers together, I guess. But yeah, I probably should have a little more Kansas City, but I don't. That's we're talking about DraftKings, by the way. We'll talk about FanDuel in a minute also. But yeah, we're on the same page. I like Philly, I like Boston, and I like the Angels. Those are my three top.
Yeah, and Kevin's in here asking a question. For one thing is he's saying that Casey's lineup is out, by the way.
Yes,
and it's not which Casey guys do you like; it's everybody. The fact is the bottom their 8 and 9 hitters may be their third and fourth most powerful bats, and they're 2K and 2.1K. But the guys I've got the most of are Massey, Melendez, and Prado. And Olivares is another value, but then you include, one of Witt or both Witt and Perez, and you've got a nice stack. And Weaver is a guy who will, he hasn't been walking as many guys this year. That's why I sort of like it more as a mini stack. It's more that you can run on him, and he gives up tons of home runs, tons of power. So that's my little KC spiel.
Yeah, we'll also say, listen, I don't know why I'm just looking at this. I'm not using them as a stack, but we don't do a lot of individual plays or whatever. But well, this guy obviously has pinch hit risk, whatever. But Wilmer Flores is hitting third at 2,700 against the lefty. So that stands out to me as a pretty good play. I'm only looking at it because I do have like one lineup where I have a 3-man stack that Wilmer Flores is in it alongside of Estrada over there. So I figured I would just bring that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually, Wilmer Flores is an interesting. That's the other thing you could do if you stack Boston. I know I said use one of the first basemen because they'll cancel each other out ownership wise to some extent, but Wilmer Flores you could play with a Boston stack, and that's something that people just won't do. You know what I mean? I don't mind that one off, by the way, as a play. Just the Giants, I was trying to figure out a way to play them earlier. I don't think it works. I wanted to get a little bit of a hedge because I have a lot of Liberatore.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't quite make enough sense of it. And yeah, I mean, Estrada will be in there the whole time. Slater probably gets removed the second that Liberatore's out. Flores probably gets removed, but doesn't necessarily, but most likely. Casey Schmidt probably gets removed. Maybe not Casey Schmidt, but probably. So
I'll tell you who I don't have as much of as maybe I should is right back to Texas again. I mean, boy, they always show up as a good leverage play for me, and I'm just not getting to them today, and it's a little bit concerning.
If you want, like that is a little bit. It's a little bit where I'm at too, because I understand it. I'm still not gonna die. I'm okay. I guess I am gonna die on this hill. I don't think Tyler Anderson is as bad as he is not good as a GPP pitcher. Like, you know what I mean? His low strikeouts, but you look at it through the whole season, he's given up he had the 1-2 home run game early. So he's given up, I mean, his last, 6 starts, 2 home runs. If there's something that makes you feel a little better about fading Texas, that would be my what I would drop in there. And it is a little bit scary fade. This offense has been consistently elite this year. They're hard to get in, so you'd think that my guess is they're going to be lower owned than they're projected to be. Yeah. Because are you going to play the Seager lefty for 5,900, and then how do you get Garcia, one of Garver or Jonah Heim? Both are very good hitters, and then Semien at 5,800. It's just really hard to get those guys in, and they don't have anybody who offers value because they've all been good. Like even Taveras is a guy I don't mind playing it as a 9 hitter, but he's 3,200. It's not like you're getting some 2,500 in there. You know what I mean?
On FanDuel, which I imagine you're not playing because there's no like good big contest. Yeah. I was looking all over for it. I'm like, okay, what is there even? I would have even played like a monster if it played like 10K for first or whatever. Yeah. But there's nothing. I mean, there's just unless you want to play the $3,000 buy-in or something like that.
Right, which I'm not going to do. Yeah,
which I'm not doing either. So I'm the only the biggest buy-in I'm playing there is like the Slam paying $5,000 for first, right? But nonetheless, I'd like to say for those of you who play FanDuel is that I don't really have that much different on FanDuel, and I built. It's the same. I mean, I have Paxton as my top guy, then Luzardo and Weaver, my next two as far as pitching goes, and then the stacks I have is the same ideas like Philly, Tampa, Angels, Boston, and some Texas. You know, so it's not really. I'm not really getting that much different. For those of you that play FanDuel, I just figured I would just throw that in.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed is that on FanDuel that it's easier to get Texas in. The problem is it's still not like incredibly easy. But that was the one thing I thought if I was going to play a lineup on FanDuel, I was like, yeah, I just won't play Texas on DraftKings. I'll play one lineup on FanDuel with them in there, but I didn't do it.
All right, so I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you what I spent 45 minutes with. This is dedication. Okay, I found like a glitch in the NBA showdown sheets. Okay. And I spent like 45 minutes fixing it, and that's dedication considering there's probably going to only be one more game for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
But I did it. I think I'm fixing it. So let's talk about the game for a minute. Who do you like in the game? Who do you like in showdown? What are you doing over there?
Well, I did bet Miami. I mean, I did. You know, the Miami +9 just felt like too many points. Okay. And I like the over in the game for what it's worth, especially with Hero back. I don't know what I'm struggling with is I really don't know what to think we're gonna have for Hero. He's been playing contact basketball for a while. He may have some restrictions, but are you going to tell me in Game 5 of the finals he comes in and hits a few threes that he's not just staying on the court?
I mean, restrictions. I mean, yeah, really, seriously. Like if they're in the game, he's going to be shooting the ball. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Yeah,
and this is what they needed essentially, right? Like, so I'm sort of gambling on the DFS side. I'm going to gamble that Hero gets more of the run than less of the run. But with that, I also think that being overweight. Being overweight Gabe Vincent is also probably a good idea because he's going to be the one whose ownership suffers. And I think just based on that alone, I'm willing to gamble that the other is possibly not true. So one of those three, Hero Lowry and Vincent will be in most of my lineups. I think Lowry is going to be the popular one, and he's definitely my favorite if I just had to pick the guy. But I think I think it's so fluid that I'm willing to just be overweight those three and make sure I have one of them in basically all my lineups.
Either Hero, who else?
Hero, Vincent. I guess you could throw Martin in there too, but Hero, Vincent, and Lowry were the three that I was talking about. But I think you could definitely conclude Caleb Martin in that. If you don't have the other three, then Caleb Martin may be your guy. I'm also curious to see what the starting lineup comes out as, because if Kevin Love starts again, I'm probably going to play Kevin Love.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
But if he doesn't, I probably won't. It's pretty simple. I also like the idea of Christian Braun here. The only thing that worries me a little bit with Braun is Denver has been very, very clear about, so far in these playoffs, it doesn't matter whether they've been on the road or at home, if they had the next game coming back, even the Lakers with the sweep, they left all of their guys out there the entire second half, basically, to close out games without having to extend series any longer in all the elimination games they've played so far this year. So that's the one thing that worries me about Braun. But Braun has been really, a big part of the rotation because he can, he's playing defense and Michael Porter Jr. can't make a shot. So he's getting more run. So he's the one I'm sort of iffy on. I'm going to end up probably playing a decent amount of him. But maybe if you're uncomfortable with that, just jump down to Jeff Green and he's going to be really popular, but he is a way to make things work.
I mean, you'd like to think that Jimmy Butler is going to be, doing everything he can to win this game.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like some sort of an auto play. His price is, he hasn't paid off his price once in this series. He obviously hasn't paid off this price. When's the last time he did? He had one game. No, he really hasn't had any game since the first game against Boston. So It's been 9 games that we've been doing this. And I agree that you'd think that he would, but he doesn't really play like that. He's not going to go out there and try and shoot the ball every time. He'll try and get to the line. He'll try to initiate the offense and set other people up.
Yeah.
So I like Butler better than Murray, but not by much. And I don't think Butler is any sort of a must play. I do think it's really hard to fade Bam. He actually has been extremely productive for the series and obviously significantly cheaper. And he will play 44 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever that takes tonight. I don't care that this guy just keeps not doing anything for me, but actually he's had a couple good games for me. Max Strus, I think that we haven't really we saw one really good game against Denver in game 2. But other than that, he's kind of been quiet a lot of the playoffs, except for the play-in thing. He literally is the only reason why they're here. He made, he made all those, he made 7 threes against Chicago. And then he scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. They came back to win a game they looked like they were going to lose. I have a feeling Max Strus could get hot tonight, and they're going to try and get him some looks early. So I'm gonna play him as another value play. And we've got Thagoon asking if you're doing another update for your MLB sheets. I can't imagine much really has changed.
No.
Yeah, I never quite get the late update for baseball.
I may have already done it though. Anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't. Hold on. I'll post the most recent thing I had. I just did do another one, so let me just see if I.
Yeah, maybe you did.
Maybe I never put it in.
And for what it's worth, I just don't. It's really not going to change much. You know what I mean?
Well, unless there were guys that were out. Unless there were guys that were out. That.
Yeah, but then you can see that the guys aren't in, right?
Right. No, yeah, I'll update what I have. Yeah, 5:06 p.m. That's the best.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good. He's got it.
I just refreshed it.
No, I appreciate it. No problem. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but no problem, man. It's totally cool. No need to apologize. I just was saying that I don't think it's going to make. Usually, you're not going to have big major changes unless somebody.
Sheetbot said true
maybe
DFS
if somebody minimum cost was
updated.
leading
They
off
should be
or something
available
like
on
that.
SaberSim in a few minutes.
That would be the biggest difference.
Sheetbot said true DFS MLB projections have been updated. They should be available on
Sorry,
SaberSim
Sheets.
in a few
There's
minutes.
proof they were being updated. That's it.
There it is. Now we have proof.
There There it is.
Well, what do you like tonight, Cheats, in basketball? Have you got anything different? Have you got any? Oh, I did forget to say, I'm going to play some Michael Porter Jr. as captain, just to say F it, and maybe he gets hot. He's too good a shooter to shoot the way he shot the series. This feels like maybe at the time he finally catches fire. So.
Yeah, you know what? I'm putting my projections in. I ran Sabres in. I'm leaving 500 on the table, you know, and seeing what I get, honestly.
Yep.
Now I'm still getting more issues with my freaking ownership here. So I have to fix this. Getting like no ownership on Duncan Robinson, but he should be owned.
Well,
he's gotta be owned some. I mean, like I'm just getting nothing. So I have to figure
Yeah. I mean, he was one of the ones I struggled with today because I've liked the way he's looked at times in the series, but they're not going to play 10 guys.
Right.
He did play 25 minutes in the last game. I mean, if you tell me he's going to play 17 minutes, I'm in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I sort of just found I think I'd rather play Love if he starts. I definitely would rather play Struss. But I mean, it's possible that you end up at the end of the game might be Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Kyle Lowry. That could easily be the 5 at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree that Jokic is the MVP of the series. I don't think there's anything shocking about that. But I have to say one thing. I didn't expect it to be maybe as close. You saw that he was
But who else is in contention?
Jamal Murray.
Okay.
He had a terrible shooting night the other night, but he has been so good in this series. Jamal Murray, by the way, not a guy known for assists. The first guy, what was the thing? The first guy with 10 assists or more in 4 straight finals games that I don't remember what the exact thing was.
Is that right?
But right now, Jamal Murray, 25-1. Jokic was 25-1 to lead the finals in assists for a player, and he has almost no shot. He needs to get 20 assists basically he needs to get, I think, 13 more than Murray.
I will say this at 1,600, Jeff Green's kind of a tough fade. You want to know the truth?
Yeah, I agree. And not the only thing. The thing that you like about him too is that he's going to be on the court.
He's going to play. I mean, he's just going to play.
Yeah, exactly, and he's going to be on the court for minutes with Jokic. Yeah, and I think all the time for all the other weird plays that the Heat could have done is probably come and gone, and they have the Hero coming back anyway. So,
yeah,
this Tyler Hero thing though is interesting because I mean he's really getting Sheets, are you showing him as low owned as he looks?
Yeah, really, nobody's playing him.
I don't know if that's right.
I don't know either.
I'm gonna just take the significant overweight approach and hope it works out for me. I might even I was early in the day flirting with the idea of captaining him. I'm like, what if he just comes back and it's the same deal? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why can't that be the case? Okay, so he and MPJ are going to be my difference makers tonight.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get forced in a little bit. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think so.
He's not that expensive. 5,400. I mean, it's not a big deal.
No, he would be 8K if he was playing.
Is he gonna start? I mean,
I don't think he'll start, but maybe. I don't think so. I mean, it makes sense to bring off the bench because that's been mostly his role, although he did start this year. But I have a friend who's dating a guy who I'll just say his team was eliminated from the NBA playoffs. So it's one of my closest friends. My kid was named after her. And she was just telling me, I'm getting messages right now about how it's been going because he flew out to LA to spend a week with her. And just kind of funny. Right after you watch this guy in the playoffs, but yeah, just kind of funny.
All right. That's the last thing. That's what I did. I just forced in 20% Tyler Hero. That's right.
Let's go. All right, I'm going to get to some finishing up my MLB builds. I will post them again. I posted them for everybody who's in the premium, but I'll do a little.
Is there a Tampa lineup yet?
No Tampa lineup yet, which every minute that ticks by is a slight chance at getting lower ownership on Tampa. unless the lineup comes out exactly as it's projected, which Tampa almost never does. That's the one thing. Tampa almost never has their exact lineup projected.
Right.
It's almost always wrong. And there's no Philly lineup either, by the way.
Hero's really expensive on freaking
FanDuel.
It's 11,000.
I know. I was like, I'll play one $15 tournament and use him as my differentiator. Like,
Well, he's definitely going to be different.
there's nobody you can't play. I'm like, even that's like such a bad play. Like it's like I could barely pull it off. As I figure $15, I can take one really stupid gamble and
Right.
Tyler makes 8 threes or something, gets 3 steals or something like that. All right, guys, I'm probably going to get out of here and finish my builds. Sheets, you have anything else before?
No, again, just waiting for that Tampa lineup to come out. And listen, we got to watch. When does that game start?
That game starts at 9:40 Eastern.
Oh, so we got time on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen.
But for everybody who complains about these West Coast teams not getting their lineups in time, just take a look at when the East Coast teams come and play on the West Coast. It's just people are like forget there's a difference. Like, oh, these teams are always the worst. The Dodgers are always terrible about that. I'm like, no, they're doing it actually earlier.
Wait, let's talk about something like cooler. So, what days are you going to the Open? Just what this week?
I'll be gone Wednesday afternoon, but I'll probably be around for live. And then Thursday I'll be gone, and then Friday.
No, forget that. I don't give a crap about being available. When are you going?
I'm going Thursday.
Oh, nice. That's the best. That's so the best.
The beginning, and we'll go around everywhere. And then I've got some friends there.
Awesome.
This is show you we're LA people. We know what we're doing. So my friends who like live downtown and some of them live on the beach, they all rented a house.
Yeah, you told me that was great.
You can't do it any other way. So
you can't get anywhere. So
no. But the cool thing is this is my first golf tournament, and it's right down the street from where I grew up. So it should be fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we'll definitely. Well, wait. So when are you going to be around? So you're not going to be around Wednesday. Or you are going to be around Wednesday.
If we could record golf tomorrow, that would be ideal for me.
All right. We'll make that happen then.
Okay, awesome. Because I would love to do that before I get going. Obviously, I've already done my digging a lot. I'm gonna keep digging.
Yeah. Had a pretty. I had a pretty cool sweat in the showdown yesterday. Just kind of fizzled out at the end.
Oh yeah.
It was really weird. You know, I did like it's a regular Saber sim build, and I ended up with like 80% Alex Smalley, like randomly. And he ended up like -5 for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all these lineups like shuffled, and like at one point I was like in first, another point I was in like fourth or something. It kind of like faded away at the end, but it was that was kind of fun. I'm looking forward to a better classic slate. Bunch of classic slates have not been good to me, so we're gonna.
That's exciting though.
Listen, when it's $1 million for first, let's make that one be the one.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a little end of day 3. I mean, look, it had a chance. I played 10 lineups in the lottery, and I was in 8th place.
That's
at
amazing.
the end of day. I mean, it was. But I had the guys. It was just Corey Connors who let me down because I had Eric Cole who shot the big 9 under on Sunday, and I had Nick Taylor and Fleetwood. And then I had my other contender had to be Connors, and then I also needed Taylor Pendrith not to shoot 5 over when everybody was shooting 6 under.
Yeah, that
was the killer. But it was kind of fun though, at least to like feel like you had a sweat to look up and go, oh, I'm in the top 10. I got there's a chance, there's a path.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, Sheets. Have a good night, man, and everybody else have a good night as well. And we will see you in the Discord and tomorrow.